It's War Dragon time. Hey everybody, it's RPW. I know you haven't heard me say that in a while, so thought I'd throw it out there. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Talk Dragon Tuesday. Today is April 30th of 2019, and we of course are in the last month of the spring blossom season. And for some reason, I don't think the weatherman in this area where I'm at in Wisconsin has gotten the cue that it's spring. It's like 40s today. I'm like, no, it's so cold. Anyways, today we're going to be going over a few things. There's not really a lot of like big news for the week coming in from WarDragons. The only thing that they're putting out is, of course, what the event this is this week. And then, of course, to let you know that the sigil packs will be continuing on into this week. So that is really the big news we'll be going over. Now, outside of that, because we need some fillers, otherwise we'd have nothing to really talk about on Talk Dragon Tuesday. So we're going to be talking about the spring blossom season and then 10 of my personal tips on breeding events and getting those tokens. So we're going to be going over that as well. And of course, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Not only do we go over the news of the week and the little things that I feel would be, very productive for you to know, but we also go over a weekly winner. So last week we had everybody enter into a weekly contest right here on Talk Dragon Tuesday. And today we will pick the winner for last week. And later on in the show also, we're going to be going over how you can enter for a chance to win in this week's contest. So before you leave, don't forget to, of course, subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up and make that comment so that you can enter to win. Now, the first thing, of course, on the board is, let's get this out of the way. The sigil packs will continue this week. And as we talked about last week, I wasn't really sure what they meant by 3-tiered. Well, now we know. You have 3 different choices. One's $10, one's $50, one's $100. They're pretty good deals. I really thought about this and compared this. It's like, okay, so if you spend $50 on the one that gives you like 1,600 rubies and then get the the extra little goodies for the PvP, are you going to be able to make that 2,600 sigils with whatever you would get from that? So honestly, you might be better off getting those tier packages versus the things that would give you the resources in the event, except for in the sense that then your team may not do as well. So, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. So these are a pretty good deal if you're willing to spend the money in the game on these, but definitely worth checking out if you do. Before we go into this breeding event, I just have to say, OMG. If you watch Game of Thrones, dude, this last episode was mind-blowing. I don't want to give out any spoilers, so we're not going to talk about it, but as soon as I seen this egg on fire, I just thought about the Game of Thrones, and I was amazed. Anyways, this week will be the breeding event. And if you are new to the game and you don't know what the breeding event is, basically you're going to gain points every time you breed your dragon. You're going to get 1 point for every egg token, and then I think it's like 10 points for every mystic fragment that you use. And of course it says if you use the ruby button, but please, whatever you do, never use rubies to buy breeding tokens or to breed your dragons. It is a huge, massive waste. Well, anyways, I'm super excited for this breeding event because I'm finally going into, that's right, Harbinger dragons this week. So I'm pretty excited about that. But let's talk about the breeding event. I want to give you guys 10 tips on things you guys can do for your breeding event, whether it be getting tokens or it be how to, maximize your points in the breeding event, which isn't always the smartest choice. We'll go over that as well. So we're going to go over those 10 things. Now, this is your last breeding event more than likely of this season. We don't know for sure. I don't see that far out in events, and even if I did, I couldn't tell you. But the thing is, this might be your last one. So you may want to choose not to go as crazy in this event if you're finished, right? So, number 1 tip for the breeding is daily logins. And I don't know why this has to be a tip, but there are several players that do not log in every day, and then they don't have very many tokens, and they don't know why. Let's say you're on a team where you only get 100 a day. If you're not logging in but once a week, you're only getting 100 a week versus 700 tokens a week just for logging in. So those daily logins can be a massive help to your progression. So make sure you log in and get those done every single day. I cannot believe how many people still are not doing this. Doesn't mean you have to get in and play the game, but at least get in there, collect your egg tokens, say something in the chat, do one attack, keep your stuff up, to at least a low activity level. to help yourself in breeding events. Now, number 2, don't wait to level your dragons. I don't know how often I see this where it's the day of the event, the day before the event, I should say, and people are needing XP runs galore because they have nothing to breed. Don't wait. The week after the breeding event or the week of, get those brats to breedable. This is not something that you should be doing the day before. If you haven't got it done within that month span between one breeding event and the next, you have really sorely made a huge mistake. And you're putting a lot of pressure on your teammates by asking them to help you get that to breedable. Because there's going to be a lot of people needing extra XP between hand for the dragons they do breed needs to get to breedable to breed the next one. So do not start this event without, dragons that are ready, because that's just craziness. Now, I know that you are guilty of this, some of you out there, because my husband is one of these. You should be doing your 3 egg missions daily. Every single day, that should be one of your biggest tasks. If you are not taking advantage of these extra tokens every day, then realistically, you are setting yourself up for failure. You can get timers easily. You can get lumber easily. You can get things to build up your base very easily. But it is very difficult to get this stuff here, the good stuff, known as egg tokens. So you really need to be getting in there and getting these. And I don't care if you get boatloads of, mystic fragments. They're not as worthy or not as, valuable as an egg token. And we'll go over that in a little bit. All right, so the number 4 is using a breeding guide. And I know I was one of those. I was guilty. Oh, I don't care. I'm just going to breed. Up until, I swear to you guys, I was in Sapphire, I did not breed in a breeding guide at all. But now that it's getting to where it's like super expensive to get a dragon, I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing this without one. Now, there's a reason. Number 1, if you're not using a guide, you are possibly breeding stuff you don't even need to breed, which could have gone towards, something later on. The next thing is you can sometimes breed more than one dragon at once, but you have to select the right thing or have the right thing already bred or at breedable. So if you're not using a breeding guide, you're really, really screwing yourself out of possibly millions of egg tokens every single year. Now the next one is number 5, being careful with your mystic fragments. And what I was getting by that is you can have loads of mystic fragments, but it's not going to do you any good. Because let's say you go to breed on a dragon that gives you extra egg tokens to be able to take up your builder's hut, and all you do is throw mystic fragments on this bad boy. You're never going to get those tokens that you need, and then you have to go back and back breed to get those darn tokens that you could have got if you had the tokens to breed these. I'm sorry, I said that weird. So basically what I'm saying is you need certain eggs of certain colors to be able to take up your builder's hut. And if you just use your mystic fragments, you're not going to collect those eggs. Then you have to go back and backbreed and waste extra tokens to do it. So be very careful who you use those fragments on. I get it if you need just the last 25%, but really pay attention to who you use that on. Number 6, be mindful of the next achievement. Now this is something that I am very, very much a stickler on, especially my friend Kevin, who I've mentioned a lot on the show. Whenever we are in the breeding event and we reach a certain point, before we go spend the last little bit of fragments we have or last little bit of egg tokens, we'll actually do the math physically with the calculator to see if it's enough to even get us that next sigil marker or the next prize that might be actually worth it. And that's rare, but if there's on a sigils there, I don't generally go for it. If it's not enough, I just save it for the next breeding event. So be very mindful before you just go and you just waste all your egg tokens onto if you can reach that next level or not. I mean, you could almost go until you get to a certain point, collect what you've got, and then add all that up at that point. So be very mindful as to what your next achievement is going to cost you. All right, number 7, $7 in weeks elites. Now, I know that not a lot of people are spenders and they don't want to spend the money on elites, but this is the week that I actually spend it on my alt. And what I do is I buy a 1 week elite $1.99 so I can get that easy XP on my dragon. And then because I'm doing XP runs, because I'm already going into Atlas anyways, I go ahead and get a week's elite for Atlas as well. So for $7, I know I'm going to be running like crazy in Atlas anyways. So this way I get the extra gold and the extra XP. If you would just do this once a month, you're looking at a total of $87 or $84 a year versus what it would cost you to have it all the time. So this is when I would suggest, if you are those that like to pick and piece when you buy things, this is the time to buy one or both of those elites just once a month during the breeding. All right. So the next one is the number 8 tip, which is wait to mate. So this is more for those newer players out there, or for those that just can't seem to wait. My mom was one of those at one point. Whenever you're breeding your dragons, it's really easy to get wrapped up in trying to finish a dragon, or to just breed because you don't understand what the breeding event is. But trust me, it is better to wait than it is to mate. However, let's say it's going to take you into your next tier of dragons. Like, okay, so this is going to get me my next tier dragon, and I've got 99 of the 100, where I've got, just like, I only need like 30 more fragments. That I get. I've done that. It's after the breeding event, and I keep breeding that bad boy until I get it bred, and then I save from that point forward. But outside of something like that, guys, if it's only like 50% of the way, that's not enough to tell yourself not to wait. Just wait till next week. All right, number 9, don't open chests in the breeding event. Now, this is actually kind of controversial. For some people, this is great. It depends. If you like XP potions and you like food packs, then this might be ideal for you. And I do know that food is hard to come by nowadays. But let's say you're on a team that has Atlas and you've got castles with food in the banks. You should not be opening chests during the breeding event, because you're not going to get crap when it comes to tokens. I particularly like to do this during the PvP. Back whenever I first started playing this game, for the first 6 months, I would consistently open packs of gold packs, 10 chests every time, every single event. And one thing I've learned is you should only really be opening yours during PvPs and sometimes during your forts. So don't open chests this week. Last but not least, number 10, if you have Atlas, I really think that you are making a massive mistake by not doing at least 10 weekly writer missions a week. And the reason I say 10 is because if you do anything more than that, it's kind of a waste, in the sense that it's really hard to get those stars to be able to do them. And if you just do a bunch in 1 week or 1 month, one time frame, then it's just going to give you those extra tokens. But if you at least hit that 10 marker, you're also getting your weekly prize from your Atlas quests. So I always do 10 of these a week. Now, if you get the 3 larger ones, if you get the 375, the 375, 300, and 225, I believe, that's like 908 tokens a week extra that you're getting by doing these. So you should really be doing 10 of these every single week, period. And if you don't know how to do that because you don't have the right writers, go check out my junk writers video, because there is a way. All right, so let's talk about the spring blossom season thus far. I have personally attained 2 keys so far this season by finishing up Sato and the discount dragon. Now, I am a true believer that you should take full advantage of the discount dragon no matter what you're doing, because you're getting at least the prizes that comes along the way at half price. I'm not saying that that dragon's always going to be the greatest dragon in the world, but those prizes along the way are great. The second one I went for was Sato, because Kaiju was a heck no for me. I almost cussed there. Kaiji, to me, puts me in the mind of the water spirit dragon, and I'm just like, oh, that just seems so weak to me. I just can't do it. Then, of course, I was going to go for Kazane, but I changed my mind. And let's talk about the reason I changed my mind. Kazane, just like the other writer, is going to give you all those shards. And that's what my mindset was when it's like, oh my gosh, you can get all these extra shards. I can use these in Atlas, whatever that might be, right? But then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. I am supposed to be focused on my breeding. Like, that should be my main focus. I'm still behind on breeding. I still need to focus there. So I really sat back and I compared what it would be like to get another branch besides her. So, of course, when it comes to the base branch, there is no advantage when it comes to your dragon breeding side. It's going to be all base side. It's not going to be anything that's going to help you in your breeding. And then I checked out the 2 dragons, which we know I don't want Kaiji, whatever his name is. And I already got Haku, so I thought, okay, let's check out Goda. And one thing I noticed is Goda has all these mystic fragments that I can't get with a rider. And I think that they have about the same amount of egg tokens, but it does have more chests, gold chests. So I thought, I'm changing my mind. And sure enough, guys, I have actually started on the Go to branch, working towards my 3rd key. And so far, I'm on the very last line on the first page. I got 3 more to go before I get to my platinum stone. So that is the one I'm going to be going for, but that means I've got a month to finish this bad boy up. I'm super excited because I think I'll actually get my 3rd key. I cannot believe this. So not only those 3, but of course I also got the breeding token branch as well, because again, you know how I am. Egg missions are a must every single day. Okay, so let's talk about this season itself. What are my thoughts? Well, number 1, the first thing I think about when I think Spring Blossom is, wow, there are a lot of changes that came to this season. I'm glad that the prices didn't go up. I love the fact that we could choose both mythics. There was a lot of really awesome things that they brought into the season. However, none of the dragons, non-mythic, really excited me. So I've not really flown Haku much. I know he's a great dragon. I've seen him fly. But my personal opinion on him is he's a warrior, and I'm not a huge fan of warriors. Same thing with Goda. Goda is a warrior, and I'm not a huge fan of warriors. But they are great to have. I'm not putting them down by any means. One of the great things about the idea of getting Goda, another reason why I decided to go for him, is he is a fire element divine dragon that's a warrior. So he's going to be the perfect replacement for my Leos, who will soon be basically maxed out on my perch. So it's going to be a great change up for my base particularly. And so that alone made me excited about this dragon. And then the fact that the mythic dragon coming up in the future, for me, I am super excited about. And I'm still 99% certain, guys, that I'm going to be going for Zenko, but I am going to be opening up my mind just in case. You never know. Ronin may be the one I decide to go for. I don't think so. I think it'll be Zenko, because you guys know me. I love my sorcerers. But wow. Both are beautiful dragons. Both are very strong and have a lot going for them. So no matter which way anybody decides to go, I think these are both going to be fantastic dragons to have. But another reason I decided, or really am leaning towards Zenko, is Zenko is of course a sorcerer and a wind element. And see, a quester, which you guys know is my biggest baby of all times, is already setting up, that type of rider for this mythic dragon. So if I wanted to, I could just literally take that rider and put it on here, because it's a sorcerer and it also is a wind element dragon. So you've got to think about that when you do choose your dragons. A lot of the things that makes these dragons stronger are the riders and the gear on them. So you might want to look and see what you've got retired in the background to help you decide what dragons you should get or what mythic you should go for. Because if, let's say, the only rider you've got is hunter pushed, like it's like, okay, I got the extra hunter attack power on this, and it's a dark element because I got it for Necrix years ago, then that might be the dragon that you want to go for is Ronin, because you've got the rider for that dragon. So just keep that in mind when you do decide to finally make that decision. Now, let's say you're a pretty balanced person in this game. Let's say that your dragons are pretty well equal to your base and so forth. If I were you, I would have gotten one key. Now that I'm thinking past tense, I would have gotten one key in each situation. So, one rider, so that you could focus on a rider and those shards for one of your riders. And then I would go, of course, for one of the dragons, which for me would have definitely been the discount dragon. And then third, but not last but not least, I would go for, of course, the boost for your base. So those are the 3 that if you are a balanced person, that maybe you could think about that for next season, so that you're getting all 3 of those benefits. However, if you're like me and you're really needing to go for the egg tokens, then maybe you should really focus your attention on getting 3 different dragons versus anything else with it. Now, of course, in my situation, because I'm an Atlas and I do need to focus in on breeding, I think I turned out perfect with the fact that I got 1 rider and I'm going for 2 dragons. So I really think it really depends on what your specific needs are in this event, personally. A lot of more veteran players that have been around for a while, their bases have been really messed up because of the changes in the game. So like they would build up, for example, their archer towers, build those up and all these other things. And then they'd bring out an elemental tower. Like, oh, wow, the ice turret. Oh, wow, a fire turret. So they'd have to change things up. And that would, of course, affect the way that their bases were built. And it kind of messed them over in a sense. So for them, they're still strong. They've got plenty of dragons or whatever that might be. These base boosts are going to be fantastic for them. I mean, that would be my personal thought. So for someone who's a veteran player that's good on dragons but just needs that extra help on the base, I would say the base boost is the way to go for you. Even if you're not going for the mythic, you need to be going for that base boost. And that's what my husband ended up doing due to the same advice. So far this season, I am going to have to say it's not the most exciting season for me. I am still stuck back in this season with Necrix. I don't know what it is about that season, but to me it is still this season that excited me in the very beginning. And it could be my love just because it was the very first season I ever did. So it may not be a fair proportion, but it just seems like nothing really gets me as excited in the beginning and stays exciting, if that makes any sense. I think if I knew what a Quester was right off the bat, what things it had, I'd have been more excited about that specific season, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand what that little lightning familiar was. So anyways, my bad. But anyways, that is a wrap up on the Spring Blossom season and my thoughts on it. Let's go ahead and jump into the giveaway for last week here on my channel. So last week I asked everybody to tell me what you thought about Sakura, I don't remember how to say it, but tell you what you thought about it. Are you going for it? Do you think other people should go for it? Whatever it was. And a lot of you commented and said, I think it's a great dragon. I'm going for the mythic though, so I'm not going to. Or if I have anything left over, I'm going for it, whatever. There was a lot of positive feedback on this dragon. So let's go ahead and jump in and see who won last week's contest. Now, while this drawing is going, I'm going to explain to everybody, of course, that these giveaway prizes are actually provided by WarDragons. If your name is picked today, then I will send your information up to WarDragons for them to send you your package. You should get it within about 2 weeks, but if for some reason you don't, get a hold of me. So it looks like Kim J. Up is the winner for this week. So congratulations, you are the winner of this week's $20 in-game pack giveaway. All right, so let's jump into this week's giveaway and the information you need to know in order to enter. Now, the first thing is, if you can't comment on my video, it's probably because you're in an external server like Facebook or Line or whatever. So you actually have to go into YouTube itself, come to my channel and comment on this video so that you can actually access the comment sections. But in order for you guys to win this week's contest, you're going to scroll to the very bottom of this video and comment with your in-game name and your favorite breeding tip. It could be a completely new tip, not related to anything I said today, or it can be the ones that I did mention. Completely up to you. All right, guys, and then after you get that in, of course, come back next Talk Dragon Tuesday so you can see if you are the lucky winner of that week's contest. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the things you can expect here on the RPW Gaming channel this week. I don't see myself getting the mythic, so the next time I go live will be when I get my mythic, when I finally get to collect it. So that may not be till next week. But if for some reason it's this week, I will see you guys live for that. However, like I say, don't expect it. Now, the big one is you guys have, of course, been very supportive. I'm super excited to be bringing back my Back to the Basics series and the Atlas Explorer series. So I'll see you guys later this week on those. They might come out same day. I don't know. I have not prepped those ahead of time like I did some of last month's. So I will hopefully get those out for you guys by the end of this week. And until then, I will see you again. So again, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by, and we really appreciate having you. Don't ever be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section below. Add your information, tips, or whatever that might be. And until I see you guys next time, don't forget before you leave to give my video a big thumbs up, share the video link with your fellow players and team, and of course, happy hunting!